Welcome, everyone, to Bet What Happens Live. We are at the 2-minute warning of this AFC East rivalry match between the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. Currently, Buffalo up by 17, score of 24-7. Just had a long touchdown run from Cook. So, Grant, where are we looking at first for our bets?
I'm not really sure. It's the first thing we should probably look at is Josh Allen passing yards. He's currently sitting at 108 at the moment. His line's at 222.5. We talked about it a little bit pre-game or pre-show.
Yeah.
I have the under on him for the game. I got it all the way at 248.5. After that score, I don't expect them to pass the ball a ton. They're running the ball really well. They want to keep the ball out of the Dolphins' hands. Dolphins obviously a great offense, so the less they have the ball, the better. They get the ball at the beginning of the second half. I think that we should look at his under. I want to know what the model has to say right now, considering they might not get the ball back this half.
Yeah, so currently we have 217 for Josh Allen's median projection. If I bump it over to the second half, let's say they don't get the ball back here, it actually goes down to 200. So it'd probably be somewhere in between there. So under 222.5, I think you said, would make sense.
Yeah, let's hit it. Minus 114 over at FanDuel, 222.5.
Alrighty, first bet for Bet What Happens Live is Josh Allen under 222.5 passing yards, minus 114 at FanDuel.
All right, then Curtis Samuel. His line's sitting at 2.5 receiving yards at the moment. I know he hasn't been terribly involved. I know they're not going to pass a lot. I know he has one target. I want to see what the model has to say.
I can almost guarantee you we'll have an under because our pregame projection was under. Sean Kerner gave out his under for his best bet this week. I'm looking at 5.5, just because there's a 5.5 at FanDuel, now 4.5. And we're showing pretty much 50-50 at 4.5. So 2.5. We actually have a little bit of value to the over at 2.5 if people are looking for a middle there.
Well, it's at 1.5 now at ESPN Bet.
What's the juice there?
Minus 120 on the over.
We got 58.5% to the over. Let me take it over to the second half real quick, like I did with Josh Allen, to see what we have. Yeah, then we're only at 52.5% to the over. So probably something to stay away from.
Yeah, we'll stay away from that. Let's look at James Cook. Currently, he has 60 rushing yards. Live line sitting between 95.5 and 101.5. I probably have a lean towards the over there. I expect him to do some work in the second half. I expect him to get the ball a decent amount. What does the model have to say about that?
Yeah, so he currently has 60, like you said, and rest of game, we're projecting 37.5. That's if I, again, keep it here in the first half. If I tick it over to the second half, we're projecting 38 rest of game, which would be 98 total yards for median.
I think model's not against me. I'm going to hit the over. Over 95.5, minus 114 over at FanDuel. I think that line is a little bit low. Plus the model we have to incorporate that they get the ball at the beginning of the second half. Seems like it might be a little low.
All righty. So over 94.5 rushing yards for James Cook is our second bet here on Bet What Happens Live. So real quick, just a game state update. Miami does have the ball. They are in Buffalo territory, although they did just have a rough play there. So we're going to have to see if they score here. It's going to be kind of a pivotal situation if they can cut it to 2-possession game or it stays a 3-possession game.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to have many bets until halftime here. Interesting one to start looking at right now is going to be Tyreek Hill receiving yards. Has not done a ton in the first half. 10 receiving yards, 3 targets though. If Tua would have been more accurate, he'd probably have like 60. Can always go off for a big one. Line currently sitting at 62.5, 63.5, 70.5 over at Fanatics. What do you have? I feel like it's still probably a lean towards the under. I don't actually have a take on this. It just seems like a line where the model might have a lean towards the under.
For Tyreek Hill on 63.5 receiving yards?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so right now it's actually showing value to the over, but let me again tick it over to the second half because there isn't a whole lot of time to do with it here. Then it would be pretty much 50-50 if this gets to the second half and he doesn't get any more yards.
All right, so it'll come down to this play. Let's see what's going on here. Oh,
Oh, first down for Tua.
all right.
So
Now I'm tempted to go with the over.
I know right now it's a little bit of a lean towards the over on this one for Tyreek Hill, 63 and a half passing
It's
yards, or sorry, receiving yards.
it's down everywhere though at the moment. I don't think it's 61 and a half
Oh,
over at
Tyreek's
Better.
coming off the field anyway, so
All right,
um,
62 and a half is interesting over at FanDuel.
yeah, he just came off the field though, so
Yeah, but I'm not worried about them getting a touchdown here. They still have 27 seconds, 2 timeouts, so they're going to run 4 or 5 plays, settle for a field goal, but go for a touchdown. Let's see. All right. Um, kind of want to. This line going to pop back up here? Probably not. It makes it a little bit tougher for the second half line.
yeah,
55 yards is a decent ask for most wide receivers, not as much for Tyreek Hill, and they're going to be
right.
throwing the ball a lot. If they were getting the ball to begin the second half, I'd definitely be on it. This one makes it a little bit tougher. Yeah, again, just don't this specific scenario, it's kind of tough. Jonnu Smith, 46 and a half receiving yards, currently sitting at 29. What are your thoughts on that? I've been a little bit higher on Jonnu Smith this year than some other people. I think he's in for a big game. He's clearly getting targeted a bit and used a bit in this spot. It's not a
Uh, yeah, that's let me figure this out. Oh, I did 29 receptions, not 29 yards. That'll
it
change
should.
things. I was trying to figure out why I was showing 90% to the under. 46 and a half. Now I'm like you, I'm high on Jonnu Smith, but right now we're showing value to the under. Of course, I need to tick it over to the second half here anyway, just to see what would happen with Jonnu Smith. Then we're showing undervalue on Jonnu Smith, actually.
Oh, I think the line got taken off of FanDuel and now it's sitting at four. It's still at 46 and a half over at DK, 40 and a half over at Caesars. Seems like there could be some value on the middle, but not a ton. I don't know,
So Grant,
I'm not ready to go with under.
yeah, I'm gonna go with an interesting one here, right? So we have 17-point game. Miami's in scoring position here. So they'll probably settle for a field goal if they don't get a touchdown. That would still keep this game on, 14s or potentially a 10-point game. So I'm going to take overtime at 19-1 at FanDuel. Just a little, 0.2 unit bet. 19-1 overtime at FanDuel. I've seen everything I want to see from this game. I've seen both teams be able to move the ball. Now Tua has thrown a couple interceptions, but both teams been able to move the ball, which is what you want. Neither coach goes for 2 at a high rate. And this is still on key numbers here. And there's no weather concern. So I'm going to take overtime. 19-1, 0.2 unit bet at FanDuel.
I love it when you give out an overtime bet. I love it. Yeah, I'm
Just dropped 18 after I gave it. So I finished my sentence and it dropped 18. So I think the people hopefully watching got it. I'm fine with 18-1 as well if that's all you can get. But that's the best line at FanDuel.
Yeah, let's see. I'm just trying to watch the end of this half here. It's ready for the half to be over. I mean, preferably with a Tyreek touchdown here would be very nice. But we'll get into touchdown bets. We'll get into some more bets. Josh Allen line's all the way down to 198 and a half at the moment. So that's really nice for me. Tua's passing yard line, obviously going to be in flux. He's currently at 90 passing yards. And his line's sitting at 259 and a half. I think it's locked out. Yeah, see, there's Jonnu Smith.
Oh.
So glad we didn't take the under.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
So 90 passing yards for Tua. What'd you say his line was?
265 now and a half.
97. Yeah, 97, 265. Live projection for Tua is very high. I'll just say that. So if you like the over, we're showing 286 and a half. Now, let me tick it over to the second half to make sure, because obviously it's pretty much, he can't really get much more here. So 266.5 is what we have if we tick it over to the second half.
Yeah, so looking through things, it looks like at the moment, 264.5, 264.5, 260. I don't.
And Miami's not starting with the balls.
Yeah, I think we stay away from that one. I
Yeah,
think
I'd agree with you there.
that's just such a tough ask. I mean, Tua can absolutely do it. This Miami Dolphins team can absolutely do it, but it's just a very tough ask. I'm probably staying away. Um, let's look at what do you have for Ray Davis rest of game? Currently sitting at 30.5 over at FanDuel, full 6 yards lower than most other spots. He's
Oh
at
my goodness. We got a Ray Davis mentioned. We were talking about him in the Action Network Discord. If you're not in there, by the way, make sure to try to join that because we were live betting Ray Davis in the first half. Took his over as well pregame. So Ray Davis currently sitting at what did we say? 17 rushing yards.
Yep.
And I'm going to tick this over
35,
to the second
30.5.
half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to tick this to the second half for him. And I do need to probably adjust the game state because we're going to probably get a field goal here.
Yeah.
So let me just slightly adjust the game state. You just got to give me one moment on that.
Yeah. No, I'm just looking through other potential bets. I don't see Ty Johnson doing anything the rest of the game. Potentially
Uh,
do a running, but I never. He needs 2 more rushing yards. That's actually very interesting.
yeah, so Ray Davis, we have 7.3 or so for a
Median
is that
outcome.
right? Hold on. Oh, I know what's going on here. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I have his line set. Yeah, we have seven to 7.5 for his median rest of game because Buffalo should be running so much.
So lines at 34.5 over at ESPN bet, minus 110 juice on the under. Do we take the under?
We could now, if you like the under, you want to take it now because
Yeah.
he's not going to be starting the second half, right? And so that'll come down as we go 1 or 2 drives into the second half. So if you want to take the under, you take it now. It gives you a really good chance for a middle. And with Miami scoring here, this is a 2-possession game. If Buffalo doesn't score in this first possession of the second half, it could potentially be a 1-possession game partway through the third quarter. And then we would see that line come down from 34.5 to, 20 or something.
Yeah, let's hit that. I'll just win. Oh, it's still up at MGM at 35.5.
Let me double check. Do you have that up and open? Because sometimes it could be a stale line.
It's back up at ESPN bet at 35.5. Minus
Okay,
1.
cool.
Yeah, so it's moved 10 points. I still like that though. We'll take the
Yeah.
under on that.
So what was the line there?
35.5 minus 120 on the under.
Okay, yeah. BetMGM, it is back up 35.5 minus 110 and just went off again. But either way, we like the Ray Davis under. So if and when that pops back up at your book under 35.5, that is our next Bet What Happens Live bet. So we are officially at halftime with a score of 24-10. The Buffalo Bills lead the Miami Dolphins. And of course, I want to remind you all, if you are watching, you can get access to our Action Pro subscription. Use code LIVE20 to get $20 off the annual rate of Action Pro. You get Sean Kerner's projections. You get all sorts of live signals for betting. And of course, you get the live in-game player prop model that we're using here on Bet What Happens Live. You get access to that in the Action Network app or on the web as well. So you can find the current best live bets all in one spot. It comes in great, comes in handy on Sundays when we've got 8 or 9 games going on at once. You can say, oh, here's the top 5 or 6 bets. Let's look through and make sure I found my favorite one. And then we can bet that. So use code LIVE20 to get $20 off the Action Pro subscription. All right, Grant, second half will be coming up after halftime, of course. I'm just going to real quick update the live game state. It looks like DraftKings has the money line minus 850 for Buffalo and minus 520 for, or plus 520, I should say, for Miami. So that means 85% to win for Buffalo when we remove the juice. So my live game state is now updated.
All right, and we got a question in chat. I think
Yeah.
Jeff Wilson currently, I don't think he has any rushing yards. What do you have for his current projection?
Jeff Wilson rushing yards. This is a good question. So rest of game, we
Yeah,
have him at 15 for a median. Now it's interesting because he hasn't gotten any rushing attempts yet. He did get 2 targets, which I think is maybe backward from a lot of us expected. We thought maybe Jeffrey Wilson would get a lot of the rushing work with Achane being banged up. So we could have to change some assumptions there, some pregame assumptions. So
I
a
I
little
don't think we're
hesitant
changing.
on that one.
I think I do like the over. Someone in chat mentioned the under, but I think the over might be a better move. So we have to realize that Devon Achane has a bit of an ankle injury. I mean, we
Mhm.
could see third string, any Ingold, whoever coming
Yeah,
in at the end of the game, but it wouldn't surprise me if Jeff Wilson gets a little bit of the workload. I mean, he's obviously the third string running back. If it gets a little bit out of hand, plus they want to be careful with Achan. So I'm
absolutely.
tempted. Like it's -110 juice on the over at 7.5. That one's tough. That one's tough. I'll leave it up to you after saying
Okay,
that.
so I mean, if we don't change our pregame assumptions on him, we're showing 67% to the over,
Let's hit it.
seven and a
Let's
half.
just hit it.
All right, we're taking it. We're taking Jeff Wilson. I see it at DraftKings -110 over 7.5 rushing yards as our next bet here on Bet What Happens Live.
Yes, and before we get to touchdowns, what do you have for Tua rushing yards rest of game?
Tua rushing yards rest of game. Our one of our interesting prop bets here. Rest of game Tua, we have about 1.5 median.
So exactly where it is at FanDuel. All right, great. I kind of want to hit it. I feel like he might run if they can keep it close. I mean, it all kind of more depends on what happens during this first drive for the Bills. If the first drive they score, it changes things. So if you want to keep that in the back of your mind, if the Bills have a 3-and-out or something like that, I think you take the over on it. But I'm not hitting it right now. I'm staying away from it at the moment.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would probably stay away from it. So yeah, we're looking at Tua as well while I'm on it. Just went circle back to his passing yards prop. We're right in line with the market there. We're slightly above, but they don't start with the ball. I'm gonna real quick before we get to touchdowns. I'm gonna look at interceptions since I have it right in front of me. So Tua +110 to the over to have another interception, and then -146 to the under. We're showing -158 as fair to the under. So little tiny bit of value to the under, and especially considering Miami's not starting with the ball, that could be a little bit of value. And then Josh Allen +240 to the over, -350 to the under. We're showing +280, so that's right in line with the market there on Josh Allen. So of the interception bets, to a under would be a little bit of value.
So it's at -130, it looks like on draft. Just going to confirm. But that's what it looks like. It's -148. Sees it -140 over at ESPN bet.
Yep, -130 at DraftKings. I'm looking at it right now. So I'm good with that one if you are.
Yep, we'll take that.
All right. So Tua Tagovailoa under 2.5 receptions, or sorry, under 2.5 interceptions at -130 at DraftKings is our next bet. So Grant, I think we got to get into these anytime touchdown bets now.
Okay. Someone just tweeted out James Cook could score 5+ touchdowns +900. I can guarantee that's fun, but that's probably
Definitely
not a
not.
good bet.
Definitely not. Yeah.
I can't remember. The last person to do that, I think, was Joe. Yeah, was Mixon about 2 years ago. Doesn't happen very often.
No.
Yeah, let's look at some TD bets. Know you're going to be against Curtis Samuel, so I won't even mention that at 17-1.
We have 15 to 1 is fair. I don't hate that because he gets some rushing stuff in there.
Yeah, let's throw 0.1 units on that.
All right, Curtis Samuel. Anytime touchdown. 17-1, 0.1 units. We do have value on that because of the rushing upside he has as well. We have 15-1 fair, and Buffalo's starting with the ball. So if you're on these Curtis Samuel under receiving yards, root for a rushing touchdown then. That's the way I would encourage you to root for that one if you have joined us on the Curtis Samuel under receiving yards train.
Yeah, so all at FanDuel, all the Buffalo guys, receivers, all seem like they might have some value. What do we have for Kincaid?
Kincaid, we have plus 666.
Plus 700 there, starting with the ball. I don't hate it. I don't think I'm gonna pull the trigger. Dawson Knox.
That is a good question. Dawson Knox. Let's see. We have plus 12. So,
All right, we're hitting this for 0.1 units plus 1800 at FanDuel.
oh man, yeah, we got to hit that.
Yeah.
Absolutely must
Plus
play
the
there.
ridiculous tight ends on island games has been silly throughout the years. Dawson Knox on island games specifically has done very well. I don't know if it's because he gets better sleep with a night game. I don't know what it is. But yeah, that's definitely not a bad bet there. I'm rolling with it. Mac Hollins, what do you have at? He's currently at plus 1600.
Matt Collins plus 1600. Let me pull this up here. Plus 1800.
Yeah, we'll stay away from that one. Let's see. Josh Allen plus 210.
Josh Allen plus 210. We're at plus 232, so not quite. And we put 0.1 unit on that Dawson Knox one, right?
Yep.
Yep, just to clarify. 18 to 1.1.
Yeah. Keon Coleman plus 1000.
I always like him. He's 9 to 1 by our model right now. And they have the ball.
Let's go with 0.2 units on that. I'm feeling
All
that.
righty. Keon Coleman. Anytime touchdown, 0.2 units at 9 to 1. So, we're sprinkling some long shots, but that's good because we just need one of these to hit to make a little bit of money here.
Yeah. Lastly, Shakir plus 800. That one also seems like we might hit that.
We're at 10 to 1 on Khalil Shakir. What is Ray Davis? While we're, looking at it, I see a chat asking about it.
Only 950 or 1000.
Yeah, can't do that. That's not enough.
And I'm guessing Marquez Valdez Scantling at plus 4200.
Don't even have value on him. A lot of times we'll show value on these crazy long ones, but no, we have 64 to 1 on MVS.
Okay, all right, let's start looking at the Miami side of things. Scrolling, enhance. Braxton Berrios plus 1300. I know Jill was on him before the game. Plus 1300 is interesting.
Braxton Berrios, 13 to 1. We're at 15 to 1.
15 to 1. All right. Stay away from that. Jalen Waddle plus 260. I'm assuming no value there.
No value there.
Jeff Wilson potentially getting some extra receiving game work plus 800.
Ooh, we're at plus 550.
Yeah, I'm hitting that. Plus 800 over at FanDuel.
Quarter unit on that?
Yeah, we'll go quarter unit on that.
All right, quarter unit on Jeff Wilson. Anytime touchdown, 8 to 1 as our next bet here on Bet What Happens Live. Hopefully we get one or two of these. I still need Miami to only have one more extra point tops, which doesn't play well with my overtime bet, but I guess that's why overtime's a little bit of a hedge there. So a lot of bets here on this Bet What Happens Live. We got a lot of anytime touchdown sprinkles. We took a Tua under on interceptions. We've got a few yardage props. We even have overtime at 19 to 1. Anything else, Grant? I know we got a lot going on here.
Jonnu Smith plus 600 over at ESPN Bet.
We're at 9.5 to 1.
All right. Tua plus 1400.
We're definitely not there on Tua.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Tyreek Hill plus 140. I'm assuming there's not much value of any there.
Not there on Tyreek.
All right. Looking back at passing yards, I don't think there's anything that's that interesting. I mean, what do you have at Josh Allen's current projected total?
202, but they of course start with the ball as well, so bump it up.
Yeah, so 208 is probably about right.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk about Tua. Let's go back to rushing yards and go back to James Cook. Did we hit that over?
We did not, I don't believe.
So it's at 96 and a half. He is currently at 60 still. It's
Yeah.
it's an interesting one.
We're at 54.5% to the over. They do have the ball, so maybe 56, 57% to the over. So it's pretty thin.
Yeah, so I'm gonna double check to make sure this Fanatics line is correct because they have a 95 and a half minus 105 juice on the over. I'm not sure if I'm getting that imported incorrectly. So I'm going to check. Let's see. Opening it up here, but that could be tension. I'm probably going to hit that if that is still the line. 95 and a half minus 105 to the over. Yep, I'm hitting it. I'll take that.
What book is that at?
Fanatics.
Yeah. So
I don't hate it at FanDuel.
if you have
Um,
Fanatics over 95.5 for James Cook rushing yards, minus 105 to the over. Grant was saying he doesn't hate it at FanDuel, where it is 96.5 minus 115 to the over. In that case, we are showing, like I said, 54.5% to the over. Bump it up a couple percentage points because they do Buffalo start with the ball. So that we technically have value on over 96.5 minus 115 as well, if that's all you have available to you.
yeah, I'd still probably take it at FanDuel. Um,
Real
yeah,
quick, I see one in chat. Ty Johnson, 22-1 anytime touchdown. No.
yeah, I figured that was the case. I saw that. I'm like,
All right,
no,
so we're starting the second half here, and also apparently we already did take Cook over. I can't even remember half the time what we did or didn't take, but we
fine. I'm doubling
apparently
down.
chat's reminding. Yeah, I'm fine with doubling down. Chat's reminding us. So
Yeah,
before we end Bet What Happens live here, make sure you like the video so we can keep doing these. If you want to have more live betting shows, we need your likes on these videos. So make sure to give us the thumbs up on YouTube. That would do us a huge favor. And if you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. And, if you like when we go live, and in case you forget it, hit the bell so you get reminded of when we go live as well. But that'll do it for this Bet What Happens live. We're starting the second half here between Buffalo and Miami. Enjoy the game, everyone, and good luck with your bets.